If you live in Thailand, at some point or another, you're probably gonna have to go on a visa run. A visa run is where you leave Thailand and go to another country so that you can either extend your visa or you can start a new visa. So what we're doing is we are leaving from Thailand tomorrow to go to Cambodia so that we can extend my wife's visa for another 90 days. But our situation is gonna be a little bit more complicated than most visa runs. Most people are just going by themselves to extend their visa. But for us, we've got a family, we've got a small kid, we've got a 7-month pregnant wife, we've got basically everything down to even a complicated visa renewal process. So it's gonna be interesting to say the least.
The reason this is so important is because I'm about to have a baby in Thailand, and so I need to not get kicked out in 90 days. So we need to make sure that this works.
And since we love to save money so that we can travel as much as we possibly can, we've decided not to fly to Cambodia this time. We're gonna be taking a bus. We've never taken a bus over a border before, so this is gonna be kind of an interesting process.
And we've never taken one with a toddler, and we've never taken one 7 months pregnant.
We don't really know how it's gonna go. So we've got our Grab booked to come and pick us up at 6 in the morning tomorrow morning because our bus leaves at 8. Actually, it might not be a bus. I just checked in the email and it was like, you might get a bus or you might get a van depending on how many people booked the same day that you do. And I paid the extra money to get the bus because I was like, I want the nice seats. I want the bathroom on board because I've got a pregnant wife and I've got a toddler. We're gonna need a bathroom, but they might just not have that available. So here we go. All right, it is actually not like crazy early in the morning. We did wake up kind of early.
We woke up before the sun.
We took our Grab. We scheduled them ahead of time, and so they picked us up at 6. Took us from our school to here to the bus station, and now we're eating some breakfast that we got last night. And then
There's free coffee.
There is free coffee, which is really exciting. We've already checked in. We're gonna leave in like an hour and a half. I think it looks like it's gonna be a van because like right now we're the only people here and people are supposed to check in by 7 o'clock. It seems like we're gonna be riding a van, but we may have our own one, so fingers crossed that that actually happens. I'll give you guys the link to the company that we booked with so that if you need to make a visa run like we're doing, you can book through them. So we're on the bus and it's really nice. So I'm excited that we get to be on here for so long. I'm glad that we're not riding in a van. We are riding on an actual bus, and I booked this probably a month in advance or so, but when I did, I was able to pick pretty much whatever seat I want. So of course I got the front seat on the 2nd floor of this bus. And so that's where we get to ride for the next like 12 hours. So this company, they actually do daily bus runs to Siem Reap from Cambodia. So there's like one bus that goes to Siem Reap and there's one that comes back every single day. And it's just, it kind of depends on how many people actually book on the same day as you, and that's going to determine if they take a van or a bus. So today the bus is actually totally full because we're traveling on New Year's Eve, and so there's a lot of people traveling, I guess, and so we got the bus. So anyways, yeah, it's really nice. We've got lots of legroom, there's Wi-Fi on board, there's charging ports. It's going to be a great trip, right? Like I said earlier, we already knew we had like complicated visas, and so we just got on the bus. We're definitely good for getting into Cambodia today, but the problem is coming back. The lady just told us that she's had people who don't come back in on a tourist visa, which we're not coming back in on a tourist visa. Because like I've got a work visa, Abby's on a dependent visa, and so that's what we need to come back in on. But she said sometimes the immigration officers don't let you back in on that for one reason or another. And I'm thinking it was probably because the person who came back in was coming in on a single entry visa, and we have multiple entries. So that's something you've got to make sure about when you're crossing over the borders with a visa that lasts for like a whole year. You've got to make sure that you've got your multiple entry, or at least your re-entry permit, so that you will be able to get back in. So we might not be able to get back in, but we'll see.
Worst case scenario, I take an expensive plane flight by myself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and we actually got my doctor to give me a permission to fly, which we both were like, we're not gonna fly, why do we need this? But we have it, which is good. Although, snack number 1 looks like 7-Eleven snacks.
So we've been driving for about, what, 2 hours now?
It went by really fast.
It did. I forgot how much I love traveling by bus. It's so comfy. The seats are so much bigger than if you were flying on an airplane. It takes a lot longer, but it's so much more comfortable. And you get to see so much of the country as you're just driving by. It's so fun.
And better if you're pregnant, because I can put my legs up and she can just move around.
Well, that's just because we have like the front row, so we actually have a lot of leg room there for us to like extend and everything, so it's really great.
The way they kisses.
Okay, so we just crossed over into Cambodia, which is great because we knew that there was going to be a hiccup with some of our visas coming into the country. Not with getting into Cambodia, but with getting out of Thailand. And so we were like really stressed for a minute because it was actually Liam's that was the problem this time. And so they sent us into like a separate line and we got it taken care of. And it was actually pretty smooth for having a little hiccup because like they sent us into a different line. We didn't have to pay anything. They told us that it shouldn't be a problem with coming back into the country. So with his, it should all be fine. And we'll see how it goes with Abby and mine. They're definitely not used to seeing Western people coming across the border by land like that and giving them any other stamp other than a tourist visa. So we have to be really careful in making sure that they give us the right stamp and that they let us in back on the same visa and we don't get switched to a tourist visa, because if that happens, we only have 30 days. But if we're on the right one, then Abby will have another 90 days and I've got until June and then I'll have to renew it. But anyways, so we're in and now we're gonna have a great few days and we'll see how smoothly it goes when we come back across the border.
Well, we made it to Siem Reap. Everything was really good. I really enjoyed that bus ride. Like, it was nice and air conditioned and lots of space, and Liam fell asleep like with only an hour left to go, and so he's a little grumpy right now because we had to wake him up. So getting off the bus was a bit stressful, but that was just because he was asleep. Normally I think it would have been fine. So we are getting our hotel, Airbnb, whatever it is, we're getting them to come pick us up. And I'm really excited that we're here.
Fast forward through our adventure in Siem Reap, and a couple days later we were ready to head back to Thailand. Good morning from Cambodia. It's now 2 days later. If you guys want, you can go check out our Cambodia vlog where we did Siem Reap in about 24 hours. We are about to go head to the bus station, and fingers crossed that we don't have any immigration problems going back over. We do have the multiple entry visa, so there shouldn't be a problem, but the lady on our bus ride over here said that she has seen people who have different visas other than a tourist visa get denied entry, so we'll see how this goes. We've made it to our bus stop. This bus stop seems definitely less official than the other one. It's literally just the bus and a little stand, but it was just as smooth of a process getting checked in. Our visa situation is that Abby, myself, and Liam, we all have a different visa that all grants us a different length of stay for different reasons. So it just makes it really complicated with like, they gave us the immigration documents to like fill out, the like an immigration form to fill out, and anyways, it just gets really complicated with like every single person in our family having a different type of visa. And then some of the questions on there, it's like when are you leaving next? And we're like, we don't know because we live there. Like, it's such a weird answer, but it's because like most of the time it's tourists who are coming on this. So if you're coming as a tourist, it's actually super easy, but if you're coming as someone who lives in Thailand and you're doing a visa run like we're doing, it's a little bit more complicated, but like if you live there, you should be used to your visas being complicated sometimes.
We are currently walking in between Cambodia and Thailand right now. We are at border control. We left about 3 hours ago from Siem Reap and have been on a very nice comfy bus, and we are walking in between. So we've gotten checked and approved to leave Cambodia. Now we're trying to get into Thailand. So when you come over into Cambodia, they give you a little yellow slip that has all of your information on it. You're supposed to explain, or you're supposed to keep it inside your passport. Mine has, mine left. I don't know what happened to it. We had it, it's gone. So when we went through, I was really nervous. They were gonna give me problems with it because I lost it and, you know, pay money or whatever. But then all of the electricity was not working in that building. So they just sent me through. So it was great. I was like, my husband and my son have it, so is it okay? And they said, yep, it's fine.
Wow, I have never had such a miserable travel experience. I've heard stories about people who go through stuff like that, but that was terrible. We stood for 2 hours in line to get through immigration. And of course, Abby's pregnant, like 7 months pregnant, and so it was hot, like no air conditioning. Liam was there, and Liam actually did really great. But it was just such a miserable process. So I think I definitely would not do this again. Like, at this time because it's New Year's and it's super crowded. Might do this again if it were just a different time, but
not January 2nd.
Absolutely not.
Worse.
Never at this time ever again. Okay, further confirmation that we should just never travel by land over the border during a holiday season. New Year's time was such a crazy hectic time to travel because it took us how many more hours? 3 more hours than it took for us to originally get there?
Yeah.
So,
and 2 of those hours were in a hot, not air-conditioned room.
It was
sitting on the floor.
And then on our way back, there was just nonstop traffic the entire way back. It was pretty terrible. At least the bus was comfy. That was the one good thing, was that the bus was actually really comfortable. And so that made it enjoyable. Liam actually did a really good job of keeping himself entertained for pretty much the entire time. So something that we learned today was some of the policies that they've changed for crossing over the border. So you can now only do that 2 times per year,
right,
by land at least. So you'll have to fly the other times if you need to do something like this for visa purposes. And then by land, you can only do it twice starting this year.
We're not going to have to do this again.
Right.
Because my paperwork is done. It just wasn't here in Thailand in time. But we're not going to have to do this again.
We have the fantastic U.S. government to thank for that.
Woo! But now I get to have my baby here.
Thanks, guys, because you couldn't get your crap together. That's why we had to go through all this. Of course, anytime you're traveling, double check with your visas to make sure that you've got all the paperwork that you need to be able to cross over the border like you need to be able to do. Don't just assume that you have the same visa that we were on or that it's going to be as smooth of a process. Depending on what visa you're coming in on, it might be easier, it might be more difficult. So you'd have to do your own research on that. But that's what it looks like to take a bus across the border from Thailand into Cambodia and back while pregnant with a toddler. It's hectic, but the bus was great.
I wanted to say also thank you to our tour guides. I can't remember our first tour, our bus guide's name, but today we had Alexa, and the tour group bus thing was awesome. We absolutely loved it. The border crossing was horrible.
Yeah, they were fantastic. The people
were
on the bus were great. The bus was great. Crossing the border was very hectic. Other than that, it was good. Subscribe to our channel so that you can see more of our daily lives living over here in Thailand. Things like dealing with visas is a daily thing that we have to deal with. So subscribe to our channel to see more about how we live as Americans living in Thailand.